Trish the Dish.
And I'm Eddie Man.
And this is FKS News. Today's special edition of FKS News, we're going to count down the most beloved restaurants that are no longer with us. Were they mismanaged into bankruptcy, or did they fail to keep up with the times?
Let's start with number 5, Sisters Chicken and Biscuits.
Never heard of them.
But you have heard of Wendy's, founded by Dave Thomas. You see, once upon a time, there was a restaurant chain called Sisters Chicken and Biscuits, notable because it was also run by fast food chain Wendy's. Now, what's not generally known is that the sisters in Sisters Chicken and Biscuits refers to Dave's other daughters.
You mean?
Yes, I do. Wendy was given her own restaurant, while her 3 sisters remained nameless and given only the title Sisters Chicken and Biscuits. Now, Sisters had an 18-year run from 1978 to 1994 and over 20 locations in Ohio. Many remember the buttery biscuits served with fried chicken and honey packets.
On to number 4, Don Pablos. Many may remember their made-from-scratch salsas, tortillas, and salsas. In the 90s, Don Pablos had 120 locations throughout the United States and was second largest full-service Mexican restaurant chain in the United States, only second to Chi-Chi's. Don Pablo's decline began in the 2000s when a series of acquisitions, bankruptcies, and restaurant closures accelerated through 2019 when Don Pablo's last closed in Deptford Township, New Jersey.
At number 3, let's move on to Chi-Chi's. For the adventurous, Chi-Chi's still operates restaurants in Europe, Kuwait, and the United Emirates. For the less adventurous and nostalgic, Chi-Chi's branded products owned by Hormel can still be found in supermarkets. At the height of itself in 1986, Chi-Chi's had 237 locations.
And on a personal note, Eddie, their fried ice cream was to die for.
And that was the problem, Trish, the dying. Chi-Chi's had a hepatitis A outbreak that sickened 636 people, oh yes, and killed 4.
Oh my.
So we'll move on to number 2, Lone Star Steakhouse and Saloon, a carnivore's delight, which was a copycat of the popular Texas Roadhouse Steakhouse. Now, they were a few steps above fast casual and a few steps below fine dining. From 91 to 92, they opened 8 locations and then thought, hey, let's go public and multiply like rabbits. And they did just that. With only 8 locations, they went public on the NASDAQ and raised $91 million. Oh, yes. It was a booming success and garnered accolades.
Now, beginning in 97, Lone Star began shedding locations faster than a long-haired dog in the heat of summer. Their ownership was passed around like a fat blunt at Coachella. They were delisted from NASDAQ. They ditched their Texas house cowboy persona for an urban-style theme. It was a spark that failed to ignite public interest. They continued to wither on the vine past bankruptcy until only one exists today, an overseas restaurant in Guam, if that survived the apocalypse, also known as the pandemic.
Now we've reached number 1, Old Country Buffet, which also includes Hometown and Ryan's, which operate under the same owner. Incredibly, in their heyday, there were 1,000 locations under a company called Buffet Inc. Then, over time, they changed hands until being acquired by Fresh Acquisitions. BBQ Holdings, parent company of Famous Dave's barbecue restaurant, purchased Fresh Acquisitions. The BBQ Holdings was like a marriage doomed for failure. As BBQ Holdings CEO Jeff Crevio puts it, the buffets were just sort of a bonus that came along with the bankruptcy acquisition.
So how is it that the buffet giant Golden Corral is still in business? Well, it hasn't been easy. In 2020, they closed half of their locations, had franchisees file bankruptcy, and converted some of their buffets to a cafe style of service. Although they have plans to reopen locations that were temporarily closed, the pace has been slow.
So that ends our round of restaurants that were once beloved and now only a memory in the pantheon of national chains gone belly up.
Remember to like, share, and subscribe, and don't forget to hit that notification button for more foodie news. I'm Trish the Dish.
And I'm Eddie Man for FKS News.